Understanding the times, recognizing, perceiving the signs of the times becomes a really important part of our lives. Rather than asking the question what it is I should be doing, the better question to be asking is, do I know what season I'm in? And if not, maybe God can highlight that for me, because once you know what season you're in, knowing what to do or what exactly to do becomes a lot easier. You don't want to be behaving as if you're in the wilderness when you're in the promised land, or vice versa. You don't want to be behaving as if you're in the promised land when you're in the wilderness. We do good things, but if you do a good thing at the wrong time, then it becomes the wrong thing to do. One of the things that struck me as I was rereading the story of Jesus being tempted in the wilderness is that he uses the word of God to speak against the enemy. What struck me is I realized that he didn't put his favorite worship song on in the wilderness, or he didn't start praising God or even praying to God like we know he often does. Jesus had a lifestyle of constantly praying in isolation to the Father. But at that moment in time in the wilderness, he didn't run to God. He replied back with, "It is written." When the enemy is attacking you, it is important for us to reply back with the word of God. You see, many of us, and I don't think we do this intentionally, are worshiping God at the wrong times. Not in the sense that there's ever a wrong time to worship God, but I'm saying when the enemy attacked Jesus, he replied back with the word of God. Many believers aren't doing that because they don't know the word of God enough to reply back to the enemy. You see, when a lie comes your way, you have to replace it with the truth. But if you don't know the truth, it becomes a lot harder then to replace the lie. This word of God, this Bible that we read, is a sword. The sword is supposed to be used in warfare. The word of God is supposed to be used in warfare. And so although David was a great musician, he didn't bring his instruments to the battlefield. And some of us are doing that spiritually. We're bringing our instruments to the battlefield when really we should be bringing the word of God, which is the sword. It's the same thing with this idea of resisting the devil that James and Peter tells us to resist the devil, but at the same time flee from sin. So you need to be able to discern, is this a flight or a fight situation? Flight being fleeing, fight being resisting, because there's a time to resist and to stand firm, and then there's a time to flee and run and get the heck out of there. But you won't know what to do if you don't know what time it is. And so that's the more important question to ask yourself.